Alright, Latino's not a race. There's gonna be some criticisms, etc., etc. Okay, coming up on the screen is gonna come up next. After the title screen is gonna be a map of what is known as the Anglosphere. Okay, the Anglosphere is countries that have like some kind of influence from England. They speak English as a first language, or it's an important secondary language and it's official. It probably has official status. So this is the Anglosphere here. Okay, now next coming up, I'm gonna put a listing here of some of the countries. Okay, the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia. South Africa, New Zealand, the Philippines, Jamaica, India, Guyana, Trinidad, Grenada, Belize. Now here we have two women here from the Anglosphere. We have, they both happen to be from the United States. We have Nicole from the Pussycat Dolls, the lead singer. And then we have Sandra Bullock, who's the famous actress you might know. Okay, now, if we did the silly thing that is being done with Latino and Hispanic, we would just simply both call these people, put these two women in a group and call them Anglo-Saxon, or Germanic, or Britannic, whatever. Now, currently speaking, how many of you out there who are watching this video would call Nicole an Anglo-Saxon, or Germanic, or Britannic? That's right, probably nobody. How many would call Sandra Bullock an Anglo-Saxon, or a Britannic, or whatever? Probably all of yous, right? Regardless of your background. Now, Nicole's racial background is very mixed. She's not nominally mixed. She's a legit mixed race person. She is Russian, Filipino, and I think she might have some Polynesian in there too. From what we know, Sandra Bullock, she's pretty much German and English descent. So, now, it would be right to call Sandra Bullock an Anglo-Saxon, an Anglo. Because when you think of Anglo, you think of a white person. Nicole is not a white person. It would not be right, and it would be very Eurocentric to force her into that group, or for her to identify herself into that group. So, it would not be a good idea to do this. That's why it's a bad idea to do that with Latino, Hispanic. Okay. Now, from the hypothetical to the reality, because the thing is hypothetical because we do not in this society or any society call anybody of any race, whatever, from an English-speaking origin, Anglo-Saxon, Britannic, or Germanic, or any such thing, which is the correct thing not to do. Now, this is the reality. You see, here we have, on the left, James Roday. His real name is James Rodriguez. And you have George Lopez on the right. Now, the reality is the dude on the left, James Roday, I mean, some people would think the opposite, the way this is with this bullshit. They would think James Roday is the white guy, and George Lopez is the Latino Hispanic. But I'm going to throw this at you. Now, by definition, they're both Latino Hispanic. James Roday is a white guy. George Lopez is not a white guy. James Roday is the real Hispanic, is the Latino. George Lopez is not. He is an indigenous Native American. James Roday is a Hispanic. He's a Latino. This is what they are. This term, Hispanic, Latino, is a Eurocentric term that people, unfortunately, like George Lopez, has readily accepted. You know, whatever. Put me in a group. As long as I'm in a group. You know, that's sad, really. You know, the real Latins and Hispanics came and destroyed this man's civilization of his ancestors, and now he disgraces them by calling himself a Hispanic and Latino and identifying with that, just because the United States government said so. You know, so like I said, I mean, actually, James Roday here, he actually anglicized his name from James Rodriguez because he didn't want to get stereotyped. Sort of like, you know, how Antonio Banderas has. You know, they take a white guy like Antonio Banderas, put him in brown face, and lets him play Mexicans. You know, that's what they do. They do the same thing with Penelope Cruz. That's when you get into this Hollywood is portraying Hispanic, Latino as not white. It's really like a big mind fuck, you know. It really is meaning white. That's what Hispanic and Latino is, and that needs to start getting out there, you know. And people like a lot of people need to start from so-called Latin America need to start identifying with their African ancestry and their indigenous ancestry, and stop calling themselves Hispanic.